Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of analyzing Malema's video about land grabbing. But for me to make this video, I just want to understand the background where the black people came from in 18th centuries and 19th centuries. The white settlers, they wanted to expand their land beyond the borders. And because of the competition that they have with the Khoisan people, the expansion beyond the borders has become difficult because of the black people. And they introduced the smallpox epidemic so that they can wipe out that community. And they did it. The Khoisan community that have survived this deadly disease of smallpox, they have moved to the dry land. And some of them, they came to join the labor market in the white settlers community farm. So, and in this way, the white settlers, it was now easy for them to go and penetrate the other area because there was no one to block them. The expansion of the land by the white settlers has also created an opportunity for this white settler to start importing the labor, because they don't want to just, because the number of the Khoisan people has been reduced and they need more laborers in the agriculture sectors. This is how Jan van Riebeeck introduced the slave. So you have to write letters to whoever was above him to say he needed more laborers and he wanted to be given permission to start importing those people. And this is how the slave were introduced, just because the number of Khoisan people cannot meet the demand of the workers that they want to work in the farm. Estimation of slaves that were introduced by Jan van Riebeeck was around 63,000 slaves. The slaves, they were used in the labor market and also as a form of a financial collateral in case they want to be given financial assistance to take care of their farms. The slave that Jan van Riebeeck was importing, he was importing from Mozambique, Madagascar, Mauritius, and I believe some they were from West Africa. Just because a certain ship that was supposed to go to Caribbean was not in good condition, and here is their ship that were also looking for the slave. And they just went to that ship, sought out the healthier slave, and that's how they take 250 something. Emancipations of the slave has just come to an end when they introduce the formal banking sectors, and that's how the practice of slave has come to an end. The Cape Colony came to be under the British rule. They came to enforce the taxation and the rent tenures. And again, they brought 4,000 British settlers to come and settle in one of the settlements because the white settlers that they were living there by then, they were in constant conflict with the Khoisan and Xhosa people. So these 4,000 men, they were just there to harmonize the situation. But on the ground, there was a completely different act from these white people. The white settlers who started to trek beyond the borders, so they came to Namaqualand, which is Namibia now, and some they end up in Swakopmund, some settle in central Namibia around Etosha Plain. They set up homes, and some they started to look after the sick one, and they did not stop there. They went further into Angola, where they were met by the Portuguese. And I believe in 1928, those white settlers, they were repatriated back to South Africa. So the Portuguese, they were not playing. So they were serious. And when some end up in Angola, some they have to trek to northeast of Namaqualand. Some settle in Caprivi, and they went further up to Congo-Brazzaville. They were just looking for the minerals and the fertile land. And apparently when they find a vast empty land in Congo-Brazzaville, they were like, wow. So there are empty land here, and the native black people, they are not using it. So that's how they were capturing this land. And obviously, some they trek up to Mashonaland, which is Zimbabwe now, and settle there, and also set up their land act where they were prohibiting the black people not to have land, and all sort of manners. So the British settlers, they were more organized because they also come with a plan to say what we want is to annex all the land and to build an empire from Cape to Cairo, or in their organized scheming to grab the land. They were also interested in the minerals, because when they got to Zimbabwe, they found minerals there, and they started establishing their communities, calling their other white people to come and join them. And that's how they wanted to build an empire from Cape to Cairo. Now, when you look at the British, they were in South Africa, in Namibia, in Zambia, they moved to Tanzania and Kenya. So they were just trying to connect this one way so that everywhere you go, you will find them. And as years goes by, they came up again with an act to say all the traditional land that they were held under the black leaders must be given to the white. And only 7% that were given to the black people. So imagine that after they occupy, they divide, they conquers all the land that was left in the hands of the black leaders, they were also removed. And mind you that the black people, they were not given the right to vote just because of these things. Just because they want to have their ways the way they want. And where the communities, they were having too much protest, they have to bring now the missionaries so that they can start preaching, to harmonize the two communities, to integrate the communities, to say when you look at the white people, don't look at them as devil, as evil, but people who want to live among you. But behind the doors, they are doing their evil act. So yes, we call it evil because it was barbaric, it was tortured. People have gone through a lot, and we just want to learn history and know history, and just to be in a better way to calculate the situation whenever we see that certain tribe is trying to act in a different way, or certain tribe, they are trying to come up with a scheme. So we should be at the better place to be reminded that these things happen in 19 so-so, these things happen in 19 so-so. This is how they move, so that the black people can be on the... After they have occupied the vast of land, they did not stop there. They were also attracted by the Transvaal land. And that's why in 1913, they also came up with an act to say the land that is under the possession of the black leaders, the traditional leaders, must be given to the white people. They must start dividing that land. And obviously when they took that land from the traditional leaders, only 7% that was allocated to the black. The 93% of that land, it was given to the white settlers. So you could imagine that all along from 1600 to 1913, the occupations of the land did not stop. Like these people, they did not set. In 1950, they introduced the forceful effect of segregation, where now the black people, they have their own location. The other location is for Indian. The other location is for colored. The other location is for themselves. And they do this apparently to improve the life of the community. Mind you that they have started taking the land, and now they have moved to the city, and again in the city they have to set up locations for all the race. And the works that was there by then, they were only for the white people. So now the white people, they have to migrate from the village again to the town, because they have to better themselves, or they have to better their life. So that's how the black people have been pushed to the corners everywhere, from 16th centuries to 19th centuries. There were no peace. There were no peace for black people. So it was a dark history, but we have to learn this history. We have to know it. allowed to vote at all. And the only freedom of movement that they came to have, the only freedom of movement that came about, it was only in 1994 for South Africa. And on this side for Namibia came early in 1990. And why did it take too long for the ANC to take back the land? Because for them to take up the arm, for them to create the ANC in 1912 or 1913, it was because of the land, or the scheme that the white people came out with was to build economy. Black people must contribute to the economy. But how do they build economy if they don't have the land? If this is the new scheme after the independence to say, you guys, you are also welcome to contribute to the economy of the country, how are they going to contribute? How are they going to contribute to the economy of the country if they don't have the land? Well, I am not in any capacity to advocate for people to go take up the land, but just to know the history where we came from, because we were all affected by the same act. The same act that was introduced in South Africa is the same act was in Namibia, I believe in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, and everywhere. So that's what I have for now. Thank you so much for watching. So give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comment down below so that we can continue to educate ourselves on this topic. And this is Africa in Depth TV. See you on my next one, and bye-bye.